All right, everybody. My name is Sequoia, and I am a coach that works with men. And so I do work with men as well as women, as well as people who consider themselves non binary. You are in the webinar for the Modern Men's Movement. I'm here with my partner, Amy Bliss, who just introduced herself to everybody. But go ahead and introduce yourself now that we are on the recording, Miss Bliss.
Yes, thank you, Sequoia. So as she said, my name is Amy. I am the founder of the Warrior Core, and I am also a coach, facilitator, guide. My work is around shifting the masculinity paradigm and creating healthy masculinity. And I am so excited for this because more than anything, I desire community and a collective in this space as we transform the lives of men and give men permission to be and go through life in a different way, in the same way we've given women permission to do. So super excited about this.
Yes, I'm so glad we found each other. And so, for everybody who is here for the webinar and those who are watching it afterwards, I just want you to know Amy and I have been working on this together for about, I would say, 6 months, putting the nuts and bolts behind this. We found each other on Clubhouse. Amy and I are both Clubhouse super mods. We train people for moderating conversations in that live podcasting style. And we're going to talk about how all the different ways that we, as coaches, have run our businesses have worked, and we're going to support the people in the mastermind to do the same thing. So, as Amy said so brilliantly, we found each other because we both desired community. I work in my own silo here with my poodle Winter. She's got her cats. And during the pandemic, we both felt like, it's great to have our work, but we felt like what we really need more than anything coming out of, working in silos is to build community, and specifically, as Amy said, for men and men's coaches. So that's what we've developed. All right, so we are the Modern Men's Movement. And what we're here to do is we're here to help you master coaching men. One of the things that we found is that the men's coaching field has a lot of people in it that are working alone, not cooperating with each other because they're just go, 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 getting their businesses run. But the coaching realm can feel really isolating. So we wanted to create connection, support you in your learning. We want to support you to grow, and we want to support you to make a legacy. Because when we all make a legacy that's woven together, the legacies have a way of sticking around and really making a difference. And I think we can all agree that in these times, we all need to have this movement of consciousness. And the way we can do that is by supporting each other. And we can get a lot more done when we support each other to move forward. So we're wondering, do you struggle with going it alone? Do you struggle with an inconsistent income and financial pressure? Do you struggle with hustle burnout? Now, this might look like feeling isolated and alone, as we've said already. It might look like we are constantly trying to find more and more customers. It might look like keeping up with the hustle. You are burnt out every night, and maybe medicating yourself with, taking long breaks, and your business goes up and down because you're constantly expanding and then are exhausted afterwards. So We really want to address all of these things. You might be stuck in a day job that doesn't serve you and you're ready to get out and you just don't know how to do this mystical thing called a coaching business. It looks so good and easy from all of the YouTube ads, but you might be thinking to yourself, I just don't know what I don't know, and I know that that's going to make me stumble. I know I have struggled with wearing all the hats. Like, I am the graphic designer, I am the webmaster, I am also the salesperson, I'm also the person who is the virtual assistant for myself. And one of the things that we found is when you wear so many hats, sometimes it can be overwhelming. And we are working on doing a lot of solutions to some of these things that you all struggle with. But let me kind of go over some more because maybe you're going to find yourself in one of these places. One of the things that I struggle with is no one to brainstorm with. So just Amy and I partnering together, we allowed ourselves to brainstorm with each other. But what we've created is a system for where brainstorming and contributing to a tribe can make a difference for you, but also make a difference for the entire community. And so we're going to show you some of those solutions in a minute. So, do you also struggle with cash flow is always seeming to be a struggle? Money management might take you away from your clients. Amy, do you want to kind of share some of the things that you are seeing coaches struggle with?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the ones that I see the most and that really resonate the most with me is that um, that needing the team, not knowing where, what, like, okay, I know I've been doing everything. I need to give this off to somebody. I don't know who to bring in. I don't know how to even just to like to go on Fiverr and find, someone that can just handle my invoicing or something. Like, just we're not going to be experts in everything, and that's the one of the biggest struggles I think with entrepreneurship is this idea that you wear all hats, and we're not going to be equally good at marketing and sales as we are at finances or content creation or all the things. And so there's so many places where you just had another person to bounce things off of, that that there would be that would just take so much off your plate. I think the other thing that really comes up for me too is this idea of, I think a lot of us got into this because we want to change the world. And there tends to be some, and maybe this comes into the hustle burnout of, am I really making an impact? And that is a lot of the reason that I wanted to do this is to, if we come together in a way, in a meaningful way, then we can actually change the world. And so to me, that really helps with keeping burnout away, is knowing that I am actually making a difference, because there's other people in community um, that are also moving the movement forward.
I
So
love that. And that makes me realize that one of the reasons why I do masterminds is because I don't know yet what it's going to take for me to be the CEO of my own company. So when we can all CEO ourselves, we can transform this old paradigm of having a business into what we call the CBO, the conscious business owner. So we're going to kind of go over some of those things now. So when we work together, more is possible. What we're talking about is a mastermind that helps with profitability, that helps with collaboration, that creates a tribe, that has a referral network that includes podcasting and interviewing each other on each other's Facebook Live, YouTube Live, on your podcast, build a podcast. And when that happens, more and more people can find you because you're on more people's stages. And this helps because then people can find you when you're not working. It's an amazing way of mastering coaching men, because when all you want to do is be the coach, you don't want to have to be the accountant and the CPA and the tax person and the da 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 and the graphic designer. Oh, and the person who posts all the time. When we can actually share resources and find really good people who do these things, then we can support each other in bigger ways. So, why M3 and why now? It's time to transform men's coaching, as Amy so beautifully said earlier. We have come up with modern solutions and support, and we really want to support you to make the difference that you are here to make. Amy, would you like to add some more to this?
Yeah. The thing that really drove me, and I was so thrilled when Sequoia shared this vision, is like I said before, is just I want to change the world. I want to shift how we view men, how we view masculinity, and how men move through the world. And we've given women that permission, and there is a lot of camaraderie and collaboration in the female empowerment space, and we don't see the same in the men's space. And I really desire to bring as many people as possible. I want to say all the people that are working towards this common goal, whether or not our visions are exactly the same, but this common goal of improving how men exist and move through the world, bring it together to put it on the forefront. I think if you were to ask the average person on the street, what is men's work? You're kind of gonna get I have no idea. I want to make this common knowledge. I want this to be part of our vernacular. I want men going on men's retreats or hiring a coach or joining a men's group to be the norm. And I want that to happen sooner rather than later. And so I think it's time that we come together and we create a movement so that what we're all passionate about can really get out into the world in a meaningful way, and not just the people that we're impacting in our own work, but on a larger scale.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why we are putting together this community, this mastermind, this tribe, is because we know that each and every one of you has a unique offering that we want all the men who are right for that offering to find. One of you might be someone who does the most amazing combination of pranayama, breath work, and tantra. One of you might be a scientist that knows that there's a connection between energy medicine and the sciences. One of you might be someone who is a woman who understands what difficulties it is to find a new spouse, and you're a relationship coach, and you're very uniquely set up for coaching men who are looking for relationships later in life. Whatever your special gift is in the men's coaching industry, we need all of you. The right person is going to find you, but we want to make it easier for them to find you. And we want to make it easier for you to find them. And that's why we're here. And we believe that this is going to create a legacy that's going to transform not just the men's movement, but also the women's movement. Because obviously, men in women's lives can make or break an experience, just like women in men's lives can make or break an experience. And I do want to include that we're not just talking about people who identify as a heterosexual man. We're talking about any identification of masculinity, which also includes people who were incarnated as masculine but identify non-binary, and so on and so forth. This is really about people who are supporting this movement. So we want to make a legacy, the M3 legacy, and we want you guys to be with us. We would love to have a big community and we all support each other. Uh, when you have a legacy, it's not about leaving something for others, it's actually leaving an inspiration in people. And that's what we're here to do. As you know, we introduced ourselves at the very beginning. I'm Sequoia. This is one of the brainchildren that has been like bubbling up through me for a long time. I am a Tantra educator. I work with a lot of men and the people who love them, which is how Amy found me. I'm also an author of 2 books. My first book is on healing men from erectile dysfunction. My book is called It's Hard: Sexual Satisfaction Secrets to Beat ED. My second book is for women, and it's all about healing from jealousy and how to create lifestyles of relationships by design and not suffering from multiple relationships and jealousy of whether or not a relationship sticks around or not. So I am someone who already has my own coaching businesses. I actually have multiple online programs, multiple funnels. I've been doing this for 5 years in the online coaching business, but I have about 30 years behind me. I'm 50 years old. I have 30 years of marketing, PR, entrepreneurship. I am, as one of my dear friends and lovers says, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I'm constantly creating new things. And this mastermind that we're creating is an opportunity for me to give back the gifts that I have acquired over these years. And I'm constantly having to reinvent myself and my businesses because technology keeps reinventing itself. This is going to continue going on, everybody, just so you know, because as technology goes more to AI, we're not going to be as fast as AI. So we need to support each other so that we can compete with AI. I'm Sequoia, and I'm going to pass it over to Amy. I know that you already said some things about yourself, Amy, but let's just hear maybe a little bit about your personal practice with the Warrior Core and a little bit about your book.
Yeah, thank you. So as I mentioned before, I'm the founder of the Warrior Core, and I came to coaching a little bit later in life. I have a 20-year corporate career in you name it, I've done it: legal, finance, operations, management. I did it all in many, many different industries, and that's kind of what I bring to the table, which is some of that. I know a lot of people that are in this space may be really good with writing content and creating things, but numbers, like, so I can make that less scary. So yes, I am the author of the forthcoming book, Shifting the Masculinity Paradigm, which is around the conditioning of men and the impact that that has had, not just on men's lives, but of everyone who shares their life with men. As you mentioned, coach, facilitator, international speaker. And I've been coaching. I've been coaching as a profession for about 5 years as well. I actually am certified as a sex and intimacy coach. And in that space, I say I've kind of been coaching my whole life. I am the person that everyone always came to for questions about sex. And in that space, I actually focus my work on men who have experienced sexual trauma. It's a very unknown or undiscussed topic that is really, it's an epidemic and needs to be addressed. So it's kind of those are the two realms that I play in the men's space, is around conditioning and healing from sexual trauma. And I'm just super excited to meet other people in this space. One thing I did want to say, kind of going back to the collaboration pieces, we've been brought up in a very, I'm going to say, immature masculine in this idea of competition. And I don't view anyone else that does men's work as my competitor. They're just someone who does what I do in a different way with a different flavor. And I don't know if you can relate, but being on a sales call and being like, this just is not the right person for me, or they're saying, you know what, I think what you do is not quite what I'm looking for. I want that person to leave with a phone number of somebody else. I want to have a pool of people that I can say, you know what, I may not be the right person for you, but oh my gosh, Sequoia is amazing. Or John, oh my gosh, here's their contact information. I really think that would be a much better fit for you. And those are the lasting impressions that bring people back and cause people to sing your praises. And we can't do that without community. So I'm so super excited about this.
Yeah, I love that. As you can probably tell, Amy and I both do similar work. My work also heals men from sexual trauma as well as women, but my main part of my practice is men. And so both Amy and I saw that what was lacking in the coach space was more of us being able to support each other and talk about best practices, and that referral network. When somebody wants someone in their hometown to see, we want to be able to refer, and we want to be able to really supercharge that referral network. And with this beautiful technology that we have now, we can do that. And that's why we've knit them all together. So thank you all for being here and for being a part of this first webinar. So the most important thing is masterminding. It's like supercharging your brainstorming, but with accountability partners, with opportunities to find the support that is something that if we all had worked in a corporation, we could go to someone else's office and knock on the door and say, you know what, I'm having a hard time solving this problem, and I think you might be the right person to help me with it. Would you have, 10 minutes of time? That's something that when we create this tribe of other high efficiency profiled people out in the coaching industry who are doing podcasts, who are coaching, who are running retreats, when we can say, this worked for me this week, I want to share it with all of you because I see it's a trend that's coming. This is what's possible with masterminding. So you got this. And one of the ways that you've got this is when you ask for support, when you say yes to a tribe, a community to help you make this happen. You've got people who will back you up. And that's why we say, let's mastermind this legacy together, because without you, we're nothing. Amy, do you want to say anything more about what we've said so far before we go on to the next part?
No, I think that's pretty much covers it. I do want to invite anyone in the audience, if you have any questions or comments, anything that has that really resonated with you so far, to go ahead and throw that in the chat. Or if you have a specific question for us, you can put that in the Q&A. But I invite you to share your experience or anything that has resonated with you so far in the chat, if you feel so called to do.
Yes, please ask any questions that might be popping up. All right, so here's what we're doing with this mastermind. It's really simple. We're going to be doing 2 Zoom meetings a month. One is going to be a mastermind, and one is going to be a conscious business owner training. Now, the other elements of this mastermind are going to include community support. We're going to have a referral network. We're going to be doing collaboration opportunities. We're going to have business coaching as part of the mastermind. And you're going to not just have me, not just have Amy, but all of the coaches that are going to be in the mastermind are also going to be supporting all of us with coaching. So we are creating this because we want this too. So it's really something that is not just a matter of, we're saying we've got this handled for all of you. We're saying we have a really good understanding of how this all works, and we want to support because we also want the support. Because we know that some of you are going to have some solutions that we don't have. Just like you might be perfect for a specific client, you might also be perfect for a specific need that the entire mastermind needs. So we're also going to have stage monetization training. How do you make money by being on other people's stages? How do you create content for your own YouTube channel and also get on somebody else's YouTube channel forever into the future, for somebody to actually find you and reach out to you? This is something that is happening to me now after a year of podcasting. People are now seeking me out based on a podcast I did a year ago. It's possible, and we're going to teach you how to do it. We're also going to have spots on the M3 promotional stages, and the promotional stages are going to be multiple fold. It's not going to just be on YouTube or Facebook Live or Instagram Live. We're also going to, when new things come up, there's a new LinkedIn opportunity that's coming up, and we are preparing for that. We have Clubhouse, which is a fantastic international stage that we have been working on since January. Both Amy and I have, with lots of success. And we're also going to work towards sharing resources. How many of you are looking for a VA, a virtual assistant? I don't know about you, but I could really use one. How many of you are looking for someone to edit your videos on Fiverr, but you just don't want to spend your whole day looking for the perfect Fiverr person? Then you find out that that person actually doesn't do the job that you thought they would do. We are going to do all of it. Now, one of the things about this style of masterminding is that the collaborative opportunities mean that you're basically coming in as a member who agrees to support all members in what they're doing, not to do it for them, but to support in ways that you can support. We're not asking for a lot of individual time, individual commitment. What we are asking for is to believe in the movement and to work with us to contribute to the movement. Amy, anything you want to add?
Yes. So just one thing to that list. I don't know if this resonates with anybody, but content creation, I'm all about it. Actually putting it out to the world. So having someone, having social media managers is high on my list of people that I'm desiring, and I put that under the resource sharing that we're going to do in the Modern Men's Movement. The other thing I want to talk about is this is our starting point. This is phase one of bringing people together. Let's talk about our common shared issues, struggles, help each other, refer, share resources, all of that. But Sequoia and I definitely have a grand vision for the Modern Men's Movement, and coming up in other phases. And Sequoia, I apologize if I'm getting ahead on the slides here.
No, it's good.
Yeah, so we would love to have more offerings in the future that include live retreats where we come together, meet each other in real life, and go through, bring in some experts and go deep into this work and into growing our businesses in new and exciting ways. We'd love to have deeper coaching opportunities, and the rest of the list is escaping me right now. Sequoia, if you want to jump in with a few things, but this is definitely the beginning of a movement, but we really want this to be an all-inclusive place for people that support men to come and learn and grow and be part of a collective, to be part of something bigger than themselves.
Yeah, it's so beautiful that you said that. Thank you for adding that. So, everyone, this is phase one. Phase one is simply let's get all of our coaches into the tribe, to the collaborative, and committed to moving the movement forward. Phase two, we are going to have live retreats where you can teach what you're best at, where other coaches can learn from your specific modality. We're going to have not only live retreats, we're going to have one live retreat a quarter. And if you're interested in those kinds of phases, we'll be sharing those as we roll them out. Phase three is going to include a supercharged referral affiliate program. So we have been working on this. We really wanted to get it going because we know that you're all chomping at the bit as well to have this kind of support. So as you can see, it's $98 per month. And we're going to do this through PayPal. So it's super easy to do. You can write it off on all your taxes because it is a business expense to get this kind of support. Now, I don't know about all of you, but just last year, I paid $2,000 a month for a mastermind that includes all the same things that I'm working on creating for you guys with Amy. So this is a complete steal. You are the first people to get in on our mastermind, which also means that you're going to be the leaders of this mastermind. Meaning, being the leader of the mastermind means people are going to be coming to you who are going to want to have support to get the kinds of results that you're getting from this kind of work and this kind of collaboration. So it's always great to get in on the ground floor because you then are someone who everybody seeks after for your knowledge, your expertise, and your experience. So we want all of you to take this and really consider working with us and being a member of our mastermind. And now what we are ready for is questions and answers. So at this time, I would love it, Amy, if you wanted to, I think there's some things in the chat. I'm not sure whether or not it'll show if I actually click on it. So I'm going to let you deal with chat and questions and answers. Turning it over to you, Amy.
Yeah. So in the chat right now, I'm sure that everybody can see, Michelle offered some things of what was resonating with her. She loves the networking and referral opportunities of the group and how great to have accountability partners who really know how to get things done. Collaborating would truly be helpful to ensure that we don't feel so isolated. So, love all of these things. And these all resonate with me so much. I don't have any questions in the Q&A box. So if anybody has any burning questions, please drop them in there and we will answer them as they come up. And in the meantime, oh, here we go. Do you have any titles, topics for the first few monthly trainings, targeted start date for first? Sequoia, do you want to?
Yes, read it again just so that I make sure I get the.
Do you have any titles or topics of the first few monthly trainings, targeted starting date for the first?
Perfect. Thank you so much. So the answer to that question is yes. The first trainings will be around getting on stage and practicing your pitches on Clubhouse. And this is one of the reasons why we are starting this now, because we're about to go into September. September is kind of when summer stops and everyone's kids go back to school. I know mine's going off to college September 13th. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So there is a opening of new business practices around going back to school and everything like that. So we want to first teach you all how to monetize being on stage. It's what I have found is the easiest and fastest way to make money from your business. And we're going to do that by training you on Clubhouse. It's super easy. It's open to everyone now. It's Android and also iPhone. And we can pop onto it, get some clients without ever having to do our hair and makeup. Oh, I know all the guys in the room are like, wait, I don't ever do that. But in other words, you don't have to be on camera. And when you don't have to be on camera, you can jump on a stage, you can share a little bit, and you can send someone over to schedule an appointment with you. So we're going to be working on, just to finalize the answer to the question, monetizing from the stage and how to collaborate. And we'll be teaching in that how to do a quick stage pitch that's not no more than 1 to 2 minutes, because oftentimes when you get up on stages, you have to ask a question or you have to offer contribution within 1 to 2 minutes on those stages. So we're going to be doing that first, and then we're going to be rolling out some other things about managing your business as a CEO or a CBO.
Yeah. A couple of the things that we have in the hopper for the next couple of months are defining your niche and creating an avatar if you're at that point, or if you're new to the business, or if you're thinking about shifting gears, or maybe you just kind of have been trying to be everything to everyone and haven't really honed in on what your niche is. So there'll be some work around that. And then the mastermind sessions, so those are the training sessions. The mastermind sessions will be really for the community. It's whatever is coming up for members in that moment. And so so basically the mastermind will be come to it with a question or a concern or an issue or a problem or a struggle, and we will mastermind together a solution to that. So that will be the format of those.
The mastermind will also be opportunities for you to practice those pitches. So one of the best parts of a mastermind is getting to know other people, so you get referral network, but also practicing a new pitch, or like Amy so beautifully said, finding your niche. She called it an avatar or your niche. You might also call this your ideal client, right? So we're going to be working on fine tuning your avatar, your ideal client, or your specific niche in the market. What I'd love to share about that, I'm so glad you brought it up, Amy. When I wrote my first book, I knew my clients were men. I knew that they were men who were dealing with sexual dysfunction, but I also didn't know what I was going to write specifically about. So the process of finding out what I was going to write about was also the process of how to figure out how to market what I was going to write about. So we're going to teach you some of that. And my book number 2 taught me that I have a lot of avatars. So even though I came up with an avatar 2 years ago for writing my first book, I fine tuned it, but I needed to also know how I was going to market to that avatar. And over 2 years, what I learned is the people buying my work was actually the wife of a man who was having dysfunction. So I had to change all my marketing. And in a mastermind, I found the answers to what my new avatar actually is. So even if you have an old avatar or an ideal client or old marketing or new marketing, the whole point about technology getting more and more complicated is that you're going to have to constantly be fine tuning your message, and not only fine tune it, but then get feedback of whether or not that message works. And sometimes you need that from a mastermind, and sometimes you need that from just going out and practicing the sales and seeing how well the response is when you get back. So a mastermind helps all of us, because when we work on it in a group, in a circle, then we can all learn something from each other's successes, but also from each other's failures. And I think that that's going to be a really important aspect. Amy, I see other things in the chat. You want to go into those?
Yes, yes. And the other one more thing I wanted to say about the topics is as the first people to join, you'll have a lot of influence into what those topics are. I mean, if you have something that's just a burning issue that others share, we are happy to shift gears and bring in whatever is hot and pressing for the group. And that's the whole point is, if everybody who joins initially is pretty fairly along in their business and doesn't need niche coaching, then we'll skip that one and do what's really, if it's around content creation, whatever, we can absolutely shift gears. And that's the beauty of this, is of the fact that we want to provide what you need, and not have to have you sit through a bunch of stuff that doesn't resonate with you or is not what you need in that moment. Matthew asked also, and the target start date is we have a few free sessions that we're going to do over the next couple of weeks, and then launch in early September with the paid subscription. So those dates will be forthcoming. And terms relating to obligation, is there an annual subscription, cancellation policy? Those are actually really great questions that we have not discussed. And I'm not looking for something that people need to sign their life away. This is about community. This is about a collective. This is not about obligation or, signing away your firstborn child. Absolutely not. So Sequoia and I can talk about this, but my feeling is that this would be stay for as long as that it's meaningful for you, and then if it no longer serves you, and our goal is to create something that does. So my vision is that the referral piece alone would more than pay for this and more than make this worth it. And we've talked about to things like, for example, when I talk about that, not just the clients that you get, but having an understood referral fee, that if somebody in the group refers you a client, you give them a referral fee of at least 10% of whatever you bring in for that client that signs up with you. So in referral fees alone, I want this to more than pay for itself. So that said, I'm not holding anybody's feet to the fire.
Right. Yeah, I absolutely. So this is an open registration. However, we're asking for it to be an auto pay because, as we've all discussed, we're not CPAs, we're not accountants. Neither Amy or I are going to be managing that part. But you can come and go as you please. We are not asking for a full year commitment at this point, even though we know it would benefit the group. What we want is for you to feel free to come in and support yourself with this kind of mastermind, and also get support from others. We're looking at this to be a part of a conscious economy style business. And what we mean by that is we're only taking what we need and we're offering what we can. And that's one of the reasons why we made this mastermind so affordable. I myself, was not getting everything I needed to get out of a $2,000 a month mastermind. And so I got a lot more freedom when I left that, because I wasn't having to make all of this money just to pay for the mastermind. So we want this to be a collaboration. And so the fee is really just paying for all of the technology behind the scenes. And we know how important masterminding is and how beneficial it is when someone else speaks of you and your work. It says more than anything you could ever put in an ad. And so the minor monthly fee is really intended to just cover the fees for the technology on the back end, and support you guys with a good structure. This mastermind is yours. Just because we created it doesn't mean we are interested in owning it. We want it to be owned by the community. We want it to be a sacred circle of healers, coaches, guides, therapists, doctors, scientists, people who are making a difference in the world through coaching or treating men from any modality. And we want to share our ideas and our resources. And the way we're doing that with this first phase is to have this monthly fee that is done on an automatic payment installment in PayPal. You can end it at any time, and I can teach you how to do that. But basically, you can just go on to PayPal and choose end auto pay. It's very simple. I just did it for some of the things I have auto pay on just yesterday. So it was very simple. So thank you for the questions about that.
Yes.
Any other questions we have, Amy?
No other questions. Michelle says she has to drop off. So just so everybody knows, there is a link in the chat and I apologize, the link is ugly. We didn't make a pretty one, to the application to join the program. And so you can click on that. It's a Google form. And just because Michelle has to drop off, there is a quick, I think she's already gone. We did have a quick survey.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I believe, Amy, is the poll up for you?
It is, yes.
Awesome. Okay, so if everyone, this is an anonymous poll, if everyone would just quickly answer the questions on the poll. Number 1, do you coach men? Number 2, are you ready for a mastermind? And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And our number 3 is, was this mastermind helpful? Number 4 is, I'm ready to apply. Please go ahead and answer the poll. We really appreciate all of you being here. And we hope that this mastermind conversation has been a support for you and your business. With that, Amy, do you want to say anything about our next steps? Would you mind putting the link to the application in the chat?
It's already there.
Awesome. Yep. Oh, you put it in there. Great.
I put it in the chat. Yep. And the website is modernmensmovement.com. Right now, it is really just a link to the webinar or a link to a different application, which is, it's actually the same application. You just got to do it through Sequoia's calendar. But if you go to the Google form, you don't have to register to talk to Sequoia, although talking to Sequoia is amazing. And the other thing I would like to add is, if this becomes the most meaningful when the more people we have, the more community, the more referrals, the more brains in the room. So if you know of anyone that is working in the men's space that you think might really benefit from this, to please share. And thank you all so much for being here. I'm so excited. I can't wait to meet everybody, because I'm so passionate about this work, and I just totally geek out on talking about all things men's work, masculinity related. So I'm just so super excited to dive in.
Thank you. So next steps, everybody, get in with either Amy or myself for an application. So the links are down the bottom. Copy those links, please. If you would like to set up an appointment with Amy, myself, or one or the other of us, we would love to meet with you. And we have some simple questions in that application that would make a difference for us to know where you're at. So please fill that out and make an appointment with us because we would love to have you in the mastermind. Until next time, I'm Sequoia and Miss Amy, Miss Amy Bliss. We are the the modern men's movement, also known as M3, and we will see you all soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.